All right, nerds, welcome to Breaking Bags. My name is Walter Wright. This is my partner, Jesse G. Jesse G. You might want to speak to Jesse, but don't. Just shut up and listen for right now, or I'll get angry. All right, Jesse. So the first thing that we're going to do on Breaking Bags is, I don't even know why we call it Breaking Bags, by the way. The whole idea here is to make bags. We want to make a lot of bags. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure what the purity level is, but I'm going to say it's hovering around 97% purity. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. We have the secret sauce, and the sauce tastes.
The secret sauce. Oh, that might give me cancer. All right. So the first question that I'm going to ask you today is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's currently trading at 95,600. We've got, let's assume right now, about 1 year of a bull run cycle. So Jesse, where do you think Bitcoin ends up in 2025? What's the cap?
Let's see. In 2025, I really think we're going to hit a lot of moon bags. It's going to be a lot of sending things to the moon. It's going to be great and awesome. I honestly think we can hit 1 million.
The 1 million market cap.
Yes. Moon bags, Lambos for everybody.
All right. Well, feels like you've been working in a meth lab for a little bit too long, Jesse. Because I am not nearly as bullish overall on what's going to happen here. And I think that the more likely scenario, the more likely play out is going to be in the neighborhood of 250,000. And
that is a great estimate, a great appraise for a novice, in my opinion. I really think that we can boost those numbers up and get everybody on the hodl train. And it's just honestly.
Well, let me tell you. Let me show you why I'm right and you're high. So if we take a standard fib retracement tool, and we work with the understanding that the fib retracement has always hit at least a golden ratio in every bull market from the previous market. The current number is 175,830. That's where the golden ratio is from the previous top. Now, the wild card is number one, the Bitcoin ETF. Number two, Donald Trump as your God King. And with those two things, I think that the markets are going to explore tops that we haven't seen before, but we also have to understand how much money there is and how much money is ready to be put into crypto in this early stage. And let's face it, Jesse, we're still in the early stage of cryptocurrency. We might have missed the very beginnings, but we're still very early with maybe 1% of the population holding any cryptocurrency. So I think there's tremendous upside, but the statistics tell me that between 175,800 and 347,761 are my tops from the previous cycle.
Well, before we head that far into what are your estimations on a potential I would say dump on the market, being as the US just sent their Bitcoin funds over to a new wallet, and some people speculating that it's to dump before the trade of power.
The most likely scenario for that right now is that they're going to follow the letter of the law. The current letter of the law says if they've confiscated and they haven't been able to find a claimant for a specific period of time, then it must be sold on the open market. So the reason that you're seeing specific amounts being sold is because of that sort of requirement. And it's the same reason that Germany sold their Bitcoin back in, I want to say August. There was a lot of German Bitcoin that was sold in either July or August. And the reason for that is because the law says you can hold it on your books for a period of time. But after that period of time, you have to sell it and liquidate it and turn it into a state-sponsored asset. It's the same thing for cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has to be sold so that it's converted to the US dollar and then held as a US dollar.
That's fair. That's fair. What about so what's the scenario of, when it's sold and flipped over, on because even when it's traded to the dollar, they'll still have possession of that. Do you think they will repurchase Bitcoin for the government?
The funding would be decided by Congress what the next step is for that amount. The current structure is you sell, you convert it to U.S. backed resource, which is the U.S. dollar. And then it's Congress's responsibility to determine where those funds go and what it's used for. So that would be my estimation. And look, we're not doing anything different than what you would expect. We're doing what the law says, what the law requires, using the structure that they require. And that's pretty much the way that it's going to go. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Well, as long as everything's followed by the letter of the law, I mean, really anyone can not have any complaints. You know what I'm saying? It's just we want to make sure that, and that's the power of the blockchain and cryptocurrency itself, is everything's pretty much transparent. Everything's on record for all eyeballs to see, and all eyeballs are definitely watching everything that's going on the blockchain right now, especially with Bitcoin. It's a great time period to be in cryptocurrency at this moment, man. We are literally living in a true, this is pretty much the definition of a financial revolution. Like, everybody is really into it. Businesses are into it. There's businesses that's been sitting on the sidelines that are ready to hop in, and it's just a matter of time before, we all screamed mass adoption, and it's coming. It's coming. It's coming a lot sooner than we might have thought.
Well, it should be noted that today, Grayscale filed a 19B4 with the SEC for a Solana ETF. So
I missed that.
They've joined, I think it was Bitwise, Invesco, and Fidelity, which filed on November 21. So all of them will be approved at the same time for fairness in the market, just like the Bitcoin ETF, just like the Ethereum ETFs. They'll all be approved at the same time. But Grayscale is now looking to, and by the way, they have a trust, and they're looking to change that trust into an actual. So that would be a pretty big move, I think, in the market. But let's move on to, we got Bitcoin. So you say 1 million. I'm going to say 250,000 because I don't want to get ahead of myself. And I am aware, by the way, that bald-headed smart guy number 539,403 from insert investment company, Tim Draper is the guy, said that he thinks it's going to be $1 million Bitcoin. So you're in the same pocket as Tim Draper when it comes to that. Tim Draper, a very wealthy investment advisor, made a lot of money in these markets. Draper also predicted $250,000 Bitcoin last cycle. Tim Draper doesn't know shit, okay? He is making wild guesses on tremendous upside potential, and he's not using evidence-based tools to make that prediction. He's making pie in the sky, hook people in. Michael Saylor says $13 million Bitcoin. Michael Saylor can shut his yap. Okay. I love the fact that he is an expert on both Bitcoin and on selling Bitcoin, but the numbers that he's giving are just ludicrous.
Yeah.
And and I'm not saying ludicrous as in the rapper that Justin Bieber discovered when he was a very young kid and who he made famous. I'm saying ludicrous as in complete and utter nonsense.
Yeah. Well, realistic expectations, I was definitely looking in the 180 range, possibly it's somewhere between 160, 180. That was kind of my estimations. But if we're going full on bullish, if we're I guess running on dreams right now, then I guess the million is where it's at. Just like it's everywhere. Everyone believes. I mean, XRP is going to hit $10,000. I mean, it's mind-boggling the amount of I guess BS that's getting touted around the crypto space right now, around especially by people that were not around in the bear. They was not around for a while. Now all of a sudden they're experts on XRP because it went up a few pennies. It's like,
the funny thing about fundamentals is there's still fundamentals. So the fundamentals of Bitcoin say that we're going anywhere from 176,000 to 348,000. And I'll take that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fantastic move. You're coming in at $1 million, but your original pick was between 160 and 180, which is exactly where, look, and I'll say this, if Kamala Harris and her regime had, bought the North Koreans and had the North Koreans invade Texas or Florida, whichever, I don't know which one is going to be the one, but if they had, then I would say 175. But because we have someone who is, and look, let's face it, Donald Trump's a little bit old, but he's listening to people who are digital asset experts. He's paying attention to them, and he's been, shall we say, converted. So if that's the case, then I think that he will do everything in his power to make it better, make it something that's better for everybody long term. I don't think that he's going to be stuck on sentiment or ceremony. Like, I don't think that he's going to be one of those guys that says, whatever, bro. I think he's going to use a lot of fact-based occurrences to figure out what the best path forward is for cryptocurrency. And I think that he will, I think he's going to make sure that we're all going to eat, if you will. But you got to be ISO 20022, whatever that is, compliant in order to not pay taxes. So
absolutely,
also not forget that.
Well, at the same time, a big difference between whatever side of the aisle people are on, when we're talking about business, you have a lot of business professionals that are in his circle right now that are being, might as well say, being put in positions of certain types of leadership and advisement, and instead of career politicians that never had a business and don't know what it's like to have to pay employees and taxes and all this stuff. They just get in and they're supposed to be the experts because people vote them in or whatnot. It's a big difference between what we have had previously and what we have now, regardless of who you like and why you don't like them or not. This is a different change of pace, and I think a lot of people are excited to see the direction in which in these professionals, these business professionals, are going to try to change the way we do things, and especially try to rebuild our broken dollar.
Yeah, I love Sam Altman. I love Mark Cuban. I'm sorry, wait, that was the wrong side. I meant I love Elon Musk. That's what I meant to say. Did I pick the wrong people all of a sudden?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Ethereum, and let's get your pick on Ethereum. I'm not going to tell you what mine is, but I'm going to do mine strictly fact-based. So if you have a fib tool, you're going to know what mine is. So what do you think for Ethereum going into, again, and by the way, let me preface this by saying again that I think that 2025 is where we get the top of the market. What do you think in 2025 is going to be the top for Ethereum?
Top for Ethereum, like 17,600.
17,600. All right. Let me show you why you're wrong here. Let's pop that up there and let's put that into play right now. And yeah, you're probably right, actually. Damn it. All right. So according to Fibonacci, and by the way, this is played out as well. And this has only been one real full bull cycle for Ethereum, but it also played out to the golden ratio the last time as well. So in this golden ratio, Ethereum clocks in at 12,727 at a minimum. The problem that we have with Ethereum, and by the way, my number is 13,000. So my number was right in the same spot as well. But here's the thing. I don't know yet what the administration of the United States is going to do with the issue, right? The issue is staking. And one of the things that I go on about ad nauseum to people is that I don't think that people in crypto understand what the SEC has a problem with. Staking. That is the problem. Yes. That has been the problem. That's always the problem. We keep fighting these weird battles with the SEC when the real battle is just how staking is bundled up. The reason that they went after Coinbase is not because Coinbase provides staking, which in itself would be fine, or Ethereum, which in itself would be fine. The problem with Coinbase is I give Coinbase 50 Ethereum. They take my 50 Ethereum and they give it to somebody else. That creates an investment contract. They don't stake it themselves. They put it out to a third party for staking purposes. That makes it a security. And that's the part that people don't understand. And that's one of the things that we do in this market. And we just don't pay attention to the mechanics that we're using. And the end result there is we have, people out here who are saying that, the SEC is coming to get us. Actually, the SEC just wants everything to be fair and above board for all investors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the same issue that they had with these reflection tokens. It's the same. It's kind of the same principle in a way. I mean, that's why you see a lot of projects nowadays, they don't offer reflections, they're not doing reflections, because literally you are falling into the realm of securities. They're dabbling in that fine line, and when it's when you're the government versus crypto. And or not even just crypto, but people that can't fight it, they don't have the funds to fight it because they're a startup essentially. They was depending on people spending money to develop this token. You know what I'm saying? And people coming in. So it is still that you can't fight a battle based on your in a sense. I hate to say it, but in a sense, it's like a Ponzi thing. You got to have people continuously buying in, and people at the top are making money selling, but you still got to draw people in to drive the chart up. You know what I mean? And same thing with reflections. The biggest, the ones holding the most percentage are the ones getting the biggest shares. It's not equal across the board. You know what I mean? And it's just that in itself is not fair, because just because you hold 5% and I hold a little bit less, there should be some type of equal thing across the board for everybody, but it's not, because in these staking pools, even then the staking pools are not even, they're almost a scam in itself, because some of these smaller ones, they promise these big rewards. 1,700% increase, or 17% or 1,700% API, APY, whatever they want to use, but it's not sustainable, because they can't continue that, especially when it's volume driven. You ain't got no volume, you ain't got nothing.
Well, you know what? There are some that you can do that with, but and I'm going to use XRP as an example. XRP released 10 million tokens, and they have like 1 billion. Yeah. So they hold the majority of the supply still. They can reward you with significant amount of rewards if they were to choose that path. However, all they're doing is they're not creating added value. You might have an expectation of profit when you're doing it, but they're not able to provide that, because what they're doing is they're diluting the value. Let me use Doge as the best example. If we were to look at Doge and we were to say, where did Dogecoin go back in 2021? It went up to 73 billion market cap, and each coin was worth 73 cents, right? It's almost at a $70 billion market cap again. It's at 65 billion, I think, at the top just a little while ago. And while it was there, it's not even close to 73 cents, because you continue to mine Dogecoin, and that Dogecoin continues to dilute the overall amount. There's no deflationary method to it. All you're doing is creating more and more and more and more and more Dogecoin. So again, at 60 billion market cap, it should be 60 cents, but instead it's 39 cents or something like that. I don't remember what the number was, but matter of fact, we can look it up. But Dogecoin has a problem. Here we go. So Dogecoin currently has a $61 billion market cap, and the value here is now 41.8 cents. It would have been closer to 61 cents in 2021 when Elon Musk went on stage. So that's the problem that we have, is the dilution of that. So you can do it. You can give people tremendous rewards if you hold on to it, or if you don't cap it and you make mining a thing and you don't change the way the mining structure works or something like that. But, you look at something like XRP, there's currently total supply Max supply is 100 billion, but the circulating supply is still only 57 billion. They still own 43 billion token out of a fair dollar value right now of $257 billion market cap, 146 of which is what we see. So they're holding on to 111 billion dollars worth of XRP token. That's crazy.
But at the same time, it's and I've noticed that a lot of devs are starting to do this thing now, especially when they're launching off of certain platforms, is it's supply control. It's keeping people from completely wrecking the charts, especially big whales.
Well, you also have your token unlocks over here, and you have things like 5IRE, which are releasing 34 million 5IRE in 24 hours. A lot of different ones down here. Thala is going to release 1.8 million, and you can look at the circulating supplies right here and see that they're just these things are. And by the way, Cyber Arena, this Cyber Arena, and it might be, by the way, a good. I'm going to assume because it's Cyber Arena, a gaming token in some way, but only 55% of the tokens have been unlocked. So, they're going to continue unlocking over time. That's going to continue to weigh on price points for a lot of these different projects as you go down here. ENS, the Ethereum name service, they're about to release another 1.4 million. So, there's a lot of different cryptos out here that, have a lot of unlocks that are still to go. Gods Unchained, I know we talked about that quite a bit. That's one of those games. It's got 6.28 million that are getting ready to be released. They're diluting their pool because they're holding on to a big amount of supply, and they can offer these rewards. But I mean, really, what does it do? It just causes people to sell. It just makes people sell on the chart.
Yeah. You could almost, in a way, compare it to a not necessarily. No. Well, here, so you can almost compare it to to when a like a stock does a split, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Well, no, it's not the same concept. It's a little bit different. It's not the same.
No, it's just a
I'm trying to explain it I'm trying to explain it for people that the crypto newbies that don't really understand.
The more free crypto they give you, the less value there is in the crypto that you currently hold. That's what happens. If you have 1 million tokens worth $1 million, they could give you another 1 million tokens, but your tokens would then still be worth $1 million. You just have 2 million tokens.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with a lot of when they're unlocking like that. And that's causing sell pressure because a lot of people rely on these pre-sales and stuff like that. Like you get a 40% cliff, and you wait, I think 60 days, 90 days for your first unlock. When you get your first unlock, the price has pumped at that point. You know what? I can actually show you a chart that did exactly that. As a matter of fact, my favorite project, this by the way is my conviction play for this bull market. And it's DevE. And this is exactly what happened. They came in and they had a 60-day cliff. So 60-day cliff was right here. What they did was they launched, and everybody who bought in the pre-sale had a 60-day cliff. So they had to wait until over here. So they got in here, then the price pumped all the way up here. And then 40% got unlocked, and the next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. Now, all of those people that invested early, they were deep into profit because they bought at 20 cents. I want to say it was like 20 or 30 cents at launch, and then they started selling up here at like 4 or 5x. So when they got 40% of their supply out at this point, they just started dumping when it was at $1 or $2 or $3. So they made a bunch of money off of it, and then everything else that they continued to sell over here during the unlock was all profit. And all they were doing is every month it would unlock again. And when it would unlock, the same thing would happen. They would just sell and sell and sell and sell and sell. And then finally, we reached that spot, which was actually right here was the end of the vesting. 100% has been dropped from here to here. And now what are you seeing? It's charts moving up and up and up and up and up. Yes. And that's what happens because you're no longer diluting the supply. You're now, all of those tokens are now in circulation. You have nowhere to go but up. And, that's what you deal with when you have all these unlocks.
Well, and it's a big difference between between a company that has something to offer versus the community tokens that do the same thing. They'll have a vesting period for pre-salers, and it'll be like, oh, in 3 weeks, you'll get 25%, and then it'll be a month, and then whatever the schedule is, you get all these sell-offs and stuff, but most of the time they don't recover like this, because for one, it's just a community base. So basically, once the community's sold off and then moved on, it's done and over with. Where versus, for the most part, most of them.
Would it be fair to say, though, just because what we're trying to do here, I think, is educate people and provide them with meth, of course, but we're trying to educate people. Wouldn't it be fair to say that in the last 3 years, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, because we were in a bear market, and we've been in an altcoin bear market for 3 years now. So every one of these, even good projects, has failed radically during that period of time, except for a very select few, because we've just there hasn't been retail in the market, and all we've seen is venture capital and market makers pumping and dumping on the last remaining retail investors, thus again creating a self-fulfilling prophecy that all of these projects that are using a method that other people are using successfully, but it's just not working for them, it's just because it's a bear market.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair to us to an extent. A lot of these projects, they failed because they was not, for one, they didn't have the funds to do what they wanted to do anyway, and then for two, they didn't have the appropriate people in place to ensure their longevity. You get, if you want. Say I came out with this great community, or not even just community. Say I came out with this great gaming token. This is like I'm trying to line up AAA, players and stuff, but I'm looking at people that have never dealt with games before, and I'm bringing my buddies on and say, hey, we're going to do this together, and no one knows how to fulfill that. No one has any type of business strategy or expertise. You get a bunch of friends together that got this great idea, but no way to implement it, and that's one of the biggest problems and biggest things of why a lot of these projects fail, is because you got all these people that want to get into business, but they have no business background, and therefore they end up failing because they don't know how to spend the funds. Once they get funds, hey, you get a lot of people buying in. Guess what? You got this surplus of money. What are you supposed to do with it now? Oh, well, I'll just pay this guy, and I'll throw money here and here, and not allocating, certain funds for certain things and having things in place. And boom, you're failed because you done wasted a bunch of money. You done pissed off a lot of investors, and it's done and over. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why they fail, is because they don't have no idea of how to implement these great ideas.
That is true. And, again, I do want to stress here that we have to be honest with people that 99% of crypto is just a Ponzi scheme in some fashion. It's just a transfer of wealth from one hand to another. They don't serve a function. They don't serve a use, and they overlap tremendously. How many DEXs do you really need? Because there's hundreds. How many do you really need? And by the way, you need competition, but how many do you really need? How many blockchains do you really need? But by the way, I'm going to point out something that ended up failing spectacularly, but it had $1 billion market cap, and it was called Shibnobi.
Yes, I remember that.
One of my buddies was Larry from, you know what? We'll get into that later. One of my buddies was one of the listing agents at. He was security stuff. He was security, crypto, blockchain security guy. He was there for the explanation when CertiK audited Shinja, and they used that as a springboard to announce the I think it was called the Shinobi chain, whatever their blockchain was going to be. They announced that, and it went from 100 million market cap to $1 billion market cap in 2 days. To this day, there's no Shibnobi chain.
It was another. They had the Shinja swap.
Yeah, they had 21 Shibnobi swap, I think was what it was called. But they had
rescanned unit swap.
That's exactly right. And by the way, unit swap is open source. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what everybody does. That's how you create your own DEX without Remember this, Volt. I love Voltoshi, but they're not a liquidity provider. They're not a real swap. They're a front end that leads you to a Uniswap DEX.
Yeah.
That's why they don't have their own liquidity. And there's a lot of different people that did that over the years. Same thing with Shibnobi, the same thing. And by the way, when Saitama tried to do it, it was a disaster because they didn't have the money to do it.
So they had the money. They misappropriated funds. That's what they
Hey, shout out Russell Armand. Shout out, man. If your nasal cavity still works.
I don't know. Hey, they probably getting every orifice over in that prison.
Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high, and the market is buzzing with excitement. Many crypto holders are holding their breath, waiting for the next wave of volatility. Now, we're seeing that dip right now. I'm going to enter a position using Cryptonomy.finance's margin trading program. When Bitcoin hit 100,000, stats show that plenty of retail investors cashed out. Now the market seems to be holding a pattern. We've gotten a dip here. There's a good chance that those same sellers might jump back in if Bitcoin gets close to 120,000. So that's what we're going to rely on right now. We're going to enter a position on Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, we're going to enter a few positions right now. In my last video, I showed you what you needed to know about this margin trading. Right now, we're going to open a few positions. First, I'm going to go all in right now, but I'm going to go against the grain because I think that Ethereum has a big opportunity for a gigantic move. So what I'm going to do is a 10x leverage position. I'm going to schedule this for 9 months, and my minimum expected profit is 123.76%. We're going to open this position. All right, and now we're going to open up a big position here on Bitcoin. We're going to put in about $6,000 right now, about $10,000 at this point. But we're going to do it again for 9 months. I'm still going to stay risk on with a 10x position. I think it's important that we go for broke, if you will. I just don't think that the risk level is worth it. And remember, Bitcoin is on a big dip right now. So we're going to open that position right now. All right, guys, we have 2 positions now open. We have a Bitcoin position. We have an Ethereum position. I'll probably do a Solana at some point. But remember that sometimes these positions can generate more profit in a single day than in 1 to 2 previous months, even with already impressive minimum daily profits, such as the outcome that I'm already getting from the launch pool or from the fixed staking. This could be something much bigger. Now, to give you an idea on the launch pad, I did close a contract right here in which my total income was 168,000, but it's 50-50 split. So I made $84,241 off of my deposit. My deposit, by the way, $50,000. So that was a big win for me. Also, my fixed staking, remember, I have a Solana one out right now. My scheduled interest that expires in a couple of days right here. It's going to be an extra 26.2 Solana. That's a scheduled and estimated number. We're going to close that out in just a couple of days, and we're going to see how that goes. But that's going to be a fantastic profit for me. Now, again, as you see, there's plenty of profit being made over here on the launch pool. But the important thing right now, margin trading. If you are looking for a little risk on investment, then Cryptonomy.finance and margin trading are for you. Go ahead, give it a shot, and then leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about your position.
Well, the SEC just filed on 11/21, filed an indictment on Russell Armand. So we're going to see how that plays out.
When was this?
Next little while. SEC versus Russell Armand.
What?
Yeah.
Yo!
So there was a big thing to do there, because what happened was somebody had been taking screenshots and they had been saving up the evidence, and Russell was behind. He was the guy that was actually doing all of the buybacks and stuff like that to make the chart look like it was continuing to pump. They were the ones that were buying, and they were making it look like huge volume was coming in. And then Nam and a couple of the other guys were the sellers out the back door. So they would they were just moving the tokens from one place to another and cashing them out. They were getting people in, Ponzi scheme. They were getting people in, and They were selling out the back door, and they kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. And that's
so is that why they recently because I saw they recently transferred they transferred a whole bunch of funds from whatever wallet that Max was supposed to have been controlling, and they're I guess they're in preparation for all of those funds to be locked up, huh?
Yeah, so it's my understanding, and I don't know yet, but there's a new team taking over. The whole team is leaving because they don't want to be associated with Manny the Hitman and whoever.
That's what, yeah, Manny. That's what, not Max. Manny. That's what, yeah, Manny. So Manny was controlling the main wallet for that, and so they moved all of the funds out of that wallet that he controlled.
Yeah,
because I did hear that they did catch. I think they caught Manny. They caught Manny. He's
the only person they didn't catch is Nam Tran because there's no extradition in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So that's the only person that they didn't get.
Wow. I thought it was just like an FBI thing. So it's like the SEC has named him personally.
Well, so Russell organized a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how you look at it, Russell organized a Ponzi scheme. So he was buying and creating the appearance of volume, and then he was selling the tokens out the back door using different wallet, and then they were all splitting the profit.
Yeah, they did. They were trying to do the same thing over at they was trying to do some fitness tracker token. Him and what's his name, Thompson. Yeah, that's what Move or whatever it was. They were trying to do the same thing there, and the next thing you know, they disappeared. People was like calling them out
or something like that.
Motion.
All right.
I think it was Motion or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Thompson just showed up on X again the other day.
How did it? What? How is he not getting? Hey, what they get phones out in jail?
There's no fucking shame, man. There was no fucking shame in their game. All right. Yeah.
Man, that's nuts.
Yep. All right. Now I'm going to give you a trick one here because we got to move on here. Let's get to the next one because we're on the third. What is your prediction for XRP during this bull run? Going into 2025, what's the top going to be for XRP?
XRP, this bull run, top is going to be between $9 and $10.
All right. So now you need me to show you why you're wrong. All right, fine.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, and by the way, my number is much higher, but it doesn't jive with the logic of this. So just so you know,
okay.
I'm going from the bottom and I'm taking it all the way up to the top, and we're going to pop right there at the top. And now the golden ratio is going to be right where you're talking about. $9, $8.62. What? Let me pop that up to the right spot there. Right there. It's going to be about $9. The high end of this is going to be about $17.50. Now, we know that, again, the golden ratio is pretty much locked in at this. So we know that it's going to get up to $9, right? I think, it is my opinion, that we are actually headed much higher. And the reason for that is because this thing has been consolidating since 2018. If you just consider, this consolidation has been happening for 7 years. Now, when there was only a market cap right here, this thing went up to a high of $3.31. It was right here, January 5th, 2018. The crypto overall market cap at that point was in the 300 billion range. It wasn't even close to what it became. Remember, it went to 3 trillion in this last bull run. So this was not the best showing of how much XRP means to crypto. And then we got caught up in the lawsuit, which then came over here as it was ready to actually do this move. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So what we had was this move, right? So the expectation was over here in June of 2021 when the SEC stepped in and sued them. It should have gone up here, right? It should have been up in that range right there at that time, but it did not go there. So now you have to look at it. Where's it going to go afterwards? So my number is actually right over here, $27. I think it's going to go to $27 in this bull run.
Ooh, boy.
Which puts it around right where Bitcoin's market cap is today, about 1.9 trillion. But at the end of this bull run, we should be able to assume that Bitcoin's going to be about 3.8 to 4 trillion. So the market cap then for XRP becomes exponential at that point. So I think that we're going to see a massive move for XRP to try to catch up to what should have happened before. And if we look at the bottom here, here's where it gets interesting. If I remove this, and remember, it's $8.74. If I remove this and I say that this is the bottom and the top was going to be around $9, right? Then now when you look at the golden ratio, again, this is just, we're just fantasy leaguing here.
Yeah.
$24. So it would be a safe assumption that right there, splitting the difference down the middle, right there is $27.50. I am pretty sure that that's what we're going to see happen in this next market. You got to consider that they have over 300 clients. They have world governments coming.
Yeah.
They have everything that they need. This lawsuit's going to get not dismissed, but they're going to settle for $125 million. They're going to be done. So you're going to pick $9 to $10, and I'm going to pick $27.75 for XRP. And I think that it's just going to go crazy. I think that everything that it was supposed to do way back when, I think now it actually does. And I think that's how this plays out.
Well, I mean, at the same time, to be for educational purposes, we have to understand too that there's a lot at play right now as well, with society, world war. We got to get the war done, or the wars done over in these other countries. We have to stabilize and rebuild the dollar. I mean, there's a lot of work to be had for us to make even the crypto industry period to make it to the highs that we're even talking about. I mean, it's kind of going there. It's in opinions, it's going there, but we still have a long road. We got to get over this transfer of power. We got to get these little committees or whatever we're going to call them established. We got to get people in play to actually oversee this stuff. Gensler's got to get out of the office. There's a whole lot of stuff that still needs to happen for us to really get this bull run kicked off. Now, I mean, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of hopes and dreams out there, but we still got some hurdles before we can absolutely say, you know what, we are full send to new heights, especially the heights that we're even discussing. You know what I mean? Even on the conservative side and on the excitement side, we still got to understand like there's a lot of things in play that could either positively affect the market or can negatively affect.
Mergers and acquisitions have yet to come into crypto. We saw it a little bit with Fetch AI just recently. We saw that Robinhood bought Bitstamp. So we're seeing mergers and acquisitions, the early stages of it start to play out.
Well, see, you know what? I asked Gary Cardone, Grant Cardone's brother.
Yeah.
So I had him on the show, and I asked him. I said, "What do you think would be the perspective of companies coming in and absorbing a lot of these breakout techs and even gaming tech, whatever that's already been already established, already growing, have big market caps, legit companies, them getting absorbed by bigger companies that's been waiting to swoop in?" And his answer was not going to happen. I'm like, I don't know about that. And like you said, this is why would a company, even sitting on the sidelines, why would a company want to spend 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 times the money to develop something that's already in play in the crypto, especially if they're going to enter the crypto market themselves, especially if it's a piece of tech. AI is, I think AI is going to play a big part, but there's so much out there. And I mean, we kind of just went over, beforehand, some of the different AIs that that's already established that people are using. And, but there's a whole lot, especially in GameFi, and other pieces of tech that can absolutely boost a lot of these different companies coming in. Why would they spend 10 times the money when they can just acquire something that some dev would be like, oh my God, thank you for taking it off my hands. Some dev would be happy to accept whatever offer that comes their way, and these companies will swoop in and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar, another, they will add it to their already multi-billion-dollar company.
Yep. There's a lot of mergers and acquisitions to come. And by the way, when you look, JP Morgan is probably an outlier in all of this because they have their own Onyx chain, but they're one of the only ones that have this that they're doing. And most people are just going to buy and absorb a blockchain and make it part of it. And here's where it gets interesting. I'm going to show you some numbers here because we usually talk about market cap, and 6 trillion is the projected market cap, or was, for this bull run. But let's look at this right now. In this market right now, the US has a value in their stock exchange of 54 trillion, 12 trillion in China, 6 trillion in Japan, 7 trillion in Shanghai, Euro, 7 trillion, and the Japanese exchange group, which is the Tokyo exchange, is another 7 trillion. That's $94 trillion in investment dollars that are laying out there. If crypto gathered 10% of that in, again, mergers and acquisitions, through different mechanisms, 10% of that money comes over, that's 9 trillion. 20% comes over, that's 18 trillion. And then here is the biggest circumstance, right? The reason that there are problems in the world is because the abuse of governments on their own currency. And what's the answer to that? Bitcoin. And more governments, more and more businesses, more and more people are going to continue to see that over the next bunch of years, which is why I say there's no chance of $1 million Bitcoin in this cycle, in my opinion. But 250,000 to 350,000 is still significant.
It is.
I mean, that's still 4x from where we are right now, or 3x from where we are. And to be clear here, Bitcoin has almost a $2 trillion market cap as of today. So this is going to be huge. I think that, when all is said and done, that there's going to be a lot of money in this market, and there's going to be too much for people to ignore. First we have MicroStrategy, buying all the Bitcoin. But that's not the end of it. The Michael Saylor's still dealing with a problem. And the problem is Bitcoin, other than store of value, doesn't do anything else. And I don't think Bitcoin is a transactional currency, but you know what is? Satoshi. And I think that when we start to break it down, you're going to find that Satoshis on the Lightning Network, which is now owned or at least managed by Coinbase, is probably going to become something way more robust and way better than what we've seen before. Even their base blockchain, they inherited the base blockchain. Like, it's not, they didn't create it. So I think, was it called Amped or something like that before? Whatever it was called before. Starts with an A. I can't remember what it is, but they inherited the base chain. So, I think things are going to change dramatically in this market, and it's going to be ludicrous.
Yes.
It's going to be, it's going to be discovered by Justin Bieber. It's going to be ludicrous.
And I mean, and just saying that, with Elon potentially turning X into, adopting a payment system on X. I mean, that is totally feasible. That is totally. I don't necessarily think it's going to be exactly Doge. I don't think that's going to be the thing. Everybody's expecting that because he's the Doge father, or whatever the case may be. But I don't think it's going to be exactly that. I think the Satoshis is a more feasible option. I don't know, man. The future of cryptocurrency right now is so bright. As of this moment, this right now, the future of cryptocurrency is so bright I can barely even see it.
Let me also say something, because I'm the opposite of an Elon Musk fan. I think that he's a great entrepreneur. I think that he is, because he's on the spectrum, he thinks different than a lot of, but I don't think he gives a shit about cryptocurrency. I think that's a myth that we tell ourselves, or told ourselves, because he got excited about Dogecoin. I think I think we saw him just really lean into something because it was fun, not because of the function. So I don't think that Elon Musk is going to do anything for cryptocurrency at the end. I think that he is more of a problem and an obstacle to cryptocurrency than he is a solution to cryptocurrency, because I don't think he respects it the way that we do, or the way that people do. I think that he is really just a transactional sort of guy who, if Dogecoin is funny, then we'll put some Dogecoin out there. But it's not a huge investment for him. Bitcoin is an opportunistic investment for him. He's not a supporter of digital assets yet. It's a passing fancy for him. And I think he treats it that way, which is why he doesn't do more, which is why can you buy Tesla with Bitcoin right now? I think he stopped that a little while back because he was investing green.
I think that's they started taking it I think a couple months ago. I have to look that up, but
yeah, I think he was talking about it, but I don't think he had any appetite for it at that moment. So I don't know if they do or not. And you could only buy like fake stuff from Tesla with Dogecoin because long-term value is not there. Nothing changed about it. So I don't think he cares about crypto. I think Michael Saylor cares about crypto. Tim Draper cares about crypto. Anthony Pompliano cares about crypto. Who was Trump's guy? Hey, forget about it. What was the guy's he was the press secretary for like 13 days.
I don't even remember. They said they'll accept Bitcoin when mining becomes more environmentally friendly.
There you go. That right, and that's what I would think here. Yeah. It was we had Sean Spicer, we had Sarah Sanders. God, she's gross. Stephanie Grisham, Kayleigh McEnany, Kellyanne Conway was one of them. But man, oh man, there was somebody. I can't believe that I can't remember his name. He was Italian, New Yorker.
There's a lot of people that didn't like Sanders.
Anthony Scaramucci, the mooch. Anthony Scaramucci, the mooch.
The mooch.
He is a big time crypto guy. He's one of, what I mean? These guys are the heroes of cryptocurrency. The Winklevoss twin, creepy, but still heroes and champions of cryptocurrency. So like, I think that those are the people that we can rely on. I don't think that we can have any sort of reliance on Elon Musk. That's just my opinion. I'm hoping, I'm actually really hoping to be wrong about it. I really hope that he does more than what he's been doing or what he looks like he's doing so far. But let's move on here and let's close this out because we're probably at an hour already. Let's pop this up. Let's do these last two quickly as possible. What do you think that we're going to get out of Solana?
Solana, I think
now Solana, by the way, has already hit its all-time high in this market.
I think Solana is going to hit somewhere around 3,200.
3,200? Wow, that's aggressive. All right. I'm not nearly as aggressive on Solana because it really, for me, it's kind of simple here. Solana is just a meme coin paradise, and I think it'll have a run, but I don't know that it has that much more to it. I think that, there's other meme coin paradises that are cropping up. I think Tron, I think Base, I think there's a lot of different places where meme coins will thrive that are not Solana. I don't think Solana really adds anything that we don't have with a lot of other blockchains. So I don't know that it has that big path forward. I think there's a lot of interest in it. I say 3,200 is big. God damn, man. You went really hard on that one. I said 750. This is my little purple circle over here, which is right above, again, my golden ratio of 650 from the last bull cycle. I think that Solana. Now, the one thing that I do want to say is I have had dream of Solana going a little bit higher. When I look at it from a market cap perspective and I see 112 billion, then if it were to just go to where Ethereum is right now, 440 billion, that's 4x from where it is. That's $1,000 Solana. So in my mind, I can wrap my head around Solana coming up here into that 1,200 range. But beyond that, that is a big stretch, man. I'm glad you're more bullish than me on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that you got to have some type of look. Well, regardless of what investment you make, I mean, you got to have big prospects on even the little stuff, you know. And like I said, I really, in my opinion, I think Solana's going to do a lot better. And I mean, it may not come close, but that's just that. I mean, that's my little strategy, man. I mean, now regardless where it's at, I'm weighing the profits anyway, so it don't matter.
As long as the money's already there.
Hey, it's already in there, man. But I do, it's one of those, there's some things that I just have a little bit of a better opinion. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, but I definitely think Tron is undervalued. I think Avalanche is undervalued. I think, and I may get some flack for this, but I think Pole is undervalued.
Which one?
Pole, the old Matic.
Oh yeah, that's going to run too. All the layer 2s for Ethereum are going to be big. Avalanche, Pole, Base, they're all going to be. We're going to talk about one more in just a second that's going to do the same thing. By the way, this right here, this little white area right there, that's where I predict Solana is going to be at the end of this year.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. I think it's going to be at $400 by the end of this year. Absolutely. I think Solana is just about ready to break out. I've been tracking it for a while, and not to get too much off topic because we got to hurry, but on DeFi Llama, if you compare chains and you see the volume that was going through, it was not that long ago that I was having these conversations on my live streams about Solana. And it was this right here. Solana had 5 billion in total value locked, while Ethereum had 50 billion. Well, now it's 71 billion, but Solana is almost to 9.5 billion. Solana continues to get a lot of interest in its blockchain. So I think it continues. And for right now, for what it's worth, 5 billion in trade volume per day, close to 4 for Ethereum. Now, here's the other part with Ethereum is Ethereum. This is Ethereum. This is also Ethereum. This is also Ethereum. This is also Ethereum. This is also Ethereum. As you go down there, Ethereum and its roll-ups, Optimism is another Ethereum. You know what I mean? Like when you start to break these down, there are there's a lot of activity on Ethereum. So anybody selling Ethereum short at this point is probably going to be an idiot, but Solana cannot be denied. That's 9 billion in total value locked, which is on the level of Tron, by the way. Tron's at 14.5 billion right now, but it was at 9 billion just a short while back. Yeah. So, Solana, huge run. Tron going to have a huge run. And, one of the things, a brilliant move, by the way, by Tron. We're not going to talk about them today, but Tron made a brilliant move just recently. Justin Sun gave $30 million to World Liberty Financial. That's going to earn him a lot of favor with the Trump administration. So that's going to be a very good move, in my opinion, for Tron in the future. So I'll be watching for Tron to have just quite the breakout at some point very, very soon. Now, the final one is going to be Binance right here, BNB token. What do you predict for the BNB token? Oh, there was my prediction for the end of this year, by the way.
Yeah.
700. It already went to 770.
Yeah. I at top of the bull run, I really think BNB is going to be somewhere around 7.
All right. So I went with 1,400 as my total, but Fib gave me a different story entirely. It gave me 18. You know what? I'll even just get rid of this one. Fib gave me 1,800 all the way up to 3,600. I'm going to say on the low side. I'm going to, again, this is for me, one of the spots where there's going to be a struggle. BNB, I don't know if BNB continues to find its way because Solana is the new degen playground. So BNB, they got to do something different, in my opinion. Everybody has meme coins, but everybody's going to want to go where it's easiest to conform. And, if you look in the United States, and let's just say that the United States is 3,200. Really? Whew, God damn. Yeah. But
hey, regardless, it's all profits. No,
no matter what, it is going to be about, if America is going to be the crypto hub, then you have to think that Coinbase is going to be one of the leaders in exchanges. Coinbase natively works with a lot of different stuff, except Tron and and by the way, I think Tron will get added in very soon because of what they're doing with World Liberty Financial and the overtures with the Trump administration. But BNB, not the same. BNB, the thing to remember for BNB is this. CZ Binance went to prison because he did what he was accused of. He wash traded, he manipulated, he did illegal stuff. So he did the bad stuff. So he's not going to get that extra leg that somebody like Justin Sun will get with Tron and stuff like that. So as a gatekeeper, Coinbase is probably not going to. And by the way, if you send your money to Coinbase from BNB, you just lost your money.
It's gone.
Right. They're not supporting it. They're not supporting it. I have $1,000 or 1,500. I forget how much it was that I sent there like 3 years ago. Just lost. It's done.
Yeah. That's done deal.
Yeah.
Crypto.com.
Maybe they will one day. Maybe they will. But for now, it's just gone. You know what I mean?
I'll be real excited. You know, yeah, they added support for the Coinbase wallet for Base, but once Base actively traded on in Coinbase directly, I think I don't know. I'm so bullish on Base as well. Regardless of what others do, I think Base is, you know, I have great outlooks for Tron, Avalanche, and all those, man. But I think Base is going to be that new what Ethereum used to be, was that degen playground. I think Base is heading there, and I mean, because there's a lot of plays that I've had on Base, especially here lately, that I mean they've all really performed very well.
Yeah.
So,
well, as long as Coinbase is involved, I assume that there's going to be, you know, a lot of opportunity right there. And if we can get who's that crazy Gus Fring guy, that friend of ours, Rodney from My Crypto Journey. Yeah. $35 worth of daddy token for me is now worth $3.50. So I'm down 90% on my El Pollo Loco bullshit Rodney play. Man, I feel like I needed that $35, right?
it's like, come on, man. Them guys doing this.
Jake, Rodney, do you hear what Vince just said? He said that y'all wear Dockers.
I don't know, man. Hey, moved in together, I guess, and all that stuff. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm hearing stories.
Spending the night with the captain, all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't know, man. You know, but to each his own.
All right, so that wraps up the show. So Bitcoin, we kind of disagreed a little bit. I said, somewhere between 175 and 350. You said like a million. Fucking insanity.
Lambo, Team Lambo. Hey, nobody's been showing Lambos this season yet. It's time.
I think
Lambo season.
What was your number with Ethereum? I think 18,000. I said 13,000.
Yes.
So we were close. We were pretty close in that one. That's not too far off. For XRP, you were real conservative with that. You gave about a $9 or $10. I gave $27. For Solana, you went absolutely loco, 3,200 or somewhere around there for Solana. I came in, or did you say 1,800 for Solana?
No, they got 32.
3,200. Yeah. For Solana, I went closer to 1,000. And for BNB, I said, no more than 1,800. I don't like structurally what the token represents right now. And I don't know that can be washed away in this market. You said something like $1 million a token. I don't know what that fucking shit is about, but 7K. So it seems aggressive. But you know what? You never know what's going to happen. That's the funny thing about cryptocurrency, is that, these markets, sometimes things just go crazy and you have no idea what's happening. Now, will it stay up there? Obviously it won't. So anybody who's listening to this saying, hey, he's saying that Bitcoin's going to 175,000 or 300,000 or something like that, take your profits along the way. Do not get wrecked over some wild pie in the sky ideology. Do not round trip anything. Buy low, sell high. That's how you make the money. If you buy low and if you buy Bitcoin today at 90,000 and you sell it at 200,000, you will have doubled your money. If it goes to 300,000, you can be like, oh man, I could have made a little bit of extra, but you still doubled your money. Be happy that you won. Be happy with win. Same thing for Solana, same thing for BNB, same thing for XRP. Be happy with the wins that you get. Don't get wrecked on some pie in the sky, crazy ideology. But hey, throw $100 into everything you see and just see what happened. You know what I mean? Like do that. And when it doubles, take your original investment out and then just let the moon bag ride. And the more of those you have, the more crazy things you'll wake up to as this bull run really kicks off. So that's it for now, guys. I'm Walter Wright.
Jesse Jenkman.
And you just watched the first episode of Breaking Bags. So we'll see you guys.